Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm an alum of Northern Valley Youth Orchestras. And I am back today to go over a few concepts in the piece Méphisto Masqué. I hope I'm saying that right. So here we go. The first place I'd like to discuss is measure 8 in both the first and the second violin parts. The parts are in unison here, meaning that they're playing the same thing. This measure has two options of how you can play it. You can either stay in first position and just play as is, like this. A B flat is lower than the E natural, which can make for a sort of difficult string crossing. So here is how you could play it with a shift. So let's go over, first of all, how to play this measure by shifting. Shifting has two parts. There's shifting up and then there's going back down. And you have to have a plan for both. So for shifting on the way up here, our goal is to get from first position E to the third position G. And so both notes will be played with the first finger. So the way to start getting here is to practice, first of all, playing the notes that we'll want to play, but both in first position. So here's first finger E and third finger G. Those are both of the notes played in first position. The next step is to play the third finger G with the first finger. So here's our shift, jumping from first finger E to first finger G. Now the step to do this with is to use a release, glide, and drop technique. So the first thing you want to do is take your first finger E, then lift it so you make a fuzzy sound like this, and release, glide until you hit that G, which you know you want to get to. Once you do that a few times, you can speed it up. And it'll become smoother. Now this piece, in measure 8, you'll notice there's an F natural between your E and your G. So you just add one more step to your shift, which is to put that F natural in between there, like so. So you'll end up sliding the F natural, the second finger a little bit, and then replacing it with your first finger G. So it's the same shift from the first finger E to the first finger G, just with a second finger in the middle. Now that we're in third position, we have to get back down. So here in measure 8, our third position, we'll be starting on the third finger B flat, and we need to get from there to our first finger E, back in first position. Now the way I would approach this is a two-step shift. So to shift successfully back from the B flat to the E natural, I would suggest first shifting from our third finger B flat to whatever third finger is in first position. In this case, that is a G. So first I would work on shifting back from third finger B flat to third finger G. Once we find G, our E is right there on our first finger in first position. So here's how it would sound quicker. By doing this two-step shift, it's probably the fastest and most accurate way to get from one position to another when you're shifting from one finger to a different finger. For instance here, our third finger to a first finger. Now we can go over how we would approach this measure if we don't shift, if we choose to stay in first position. Here in the second half of the measure, we have a dilemma where both the B flat and the E natural are typically played with first fingers. However, if we try to cross the string without moving our first finger, we will play, instead of an E natural, we'll end up playing an E flat. and that would be a wrong note. So here we have two options. We can either play our first finger and then hop over to the other string to play an E natural, making sure to move it a little bit higher so that we don't play that E natural too flat. That's one option. But with a slur, that can get a bit messy. So the other option is to play our E natural with the second finger instead. That way we can smoothly cross the strings and we don't have to worry about our finger hopping over or getting in the right space. We just have to make sure that our first and second finger are really close together. And then to get into the next measure, we have to make sure to stretch our third finger high enough to get to that G natural. So here's the measure by staying in position, but using a second finger to play our E natural. These are the two different ways to approach measure 8, either shifting up into third position and back down, or by using the string crossing and using a different fingering for our E natural. Hopefully these help you and you can use these techniques to look at the rest of the piece and discover what technique works best for you to play the music. Thank you and happy practicing!